Hey everybody, welcome to Hockey Skate Down. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. If you want to join our hockey team, please click subscribe, hit the notification bell to all. Thank you all so much, and let's get started. I wanted to do a video on this because it's fairly recent news. Gerard Gallant was let go by the Vegas Golden Knights, and Peter DeBoer was hired in his place. And, that's a lineage to us since we had Pete DeBoer as our head coach. But more so that a lot of people are talking about, is Gerard Gallant a definite possibility to be the next head coach in New Jersey? I don't know what's going to happen with the new changing of the guard with Tom Fitzgerald as interim GM, and Brodeur helping him out with day-to-day stuff and decisions going forward. What's their motive? What are they going to do? Can they actually make decisions, or are they going to bring in another GM to do it? I don't know. But as of now, let's just talk about the coaching staff. NASREDDINE has been doing fairly well recently. They started off a little bit rocky. And, they've been winning a couple of games, and you can see the team playing with more emotion, more heart. They've all elevated their game, honestly, and they're playing a lot better. The last two games were gut-wrenching losses, but, there was tough teams that we played. And, if NASREDDINE has this kind of year where they continue to get closer to the playoff position, can they bring him back next year, or will they try to bring in a more established head coach with more of a winning background? And from the way that the Devils ownership was talking that they want to win as soon as possible, I kind of think it's going to go that way. I think they're going to bring in another head coach and his staff to help out this team. Or a possibility they bring in a head coach and they try to round it out with ex-Devils. Scott Stevens could be a possible coach on the defense. Elias could help out with the offense and run the power play and stuff like that. So there's scenarios that could happen, but let's just talk about it. Possible candidates that I see, of course, Mike Babcock's out there, Ken Hitchcock's still out there, Guy Boucher. A lot of fans are asking for Scott Stevens to be head coach. I don't see it happening. I'm sorry. I really don't. I could see him helping out, coming in to coach the defense. I could see Brodeur aiding in that help, trying to persuade him to come help them out if that's possible. But, he doesn't have... I think he would be a good coach, but if this team's on a progression where they want to win, I think they're going to bring in a coach that's more established. You have Peter Laviolette, you have Gerard Gallant, and you have Jim Montgomery, who coached Dallas. In his last two seasons, he went 60, 43, and 10. So, out of those couple of names, I don't want Babcock. I really don't. Ken Hitchcock, I don't want. And the three I'm kind of looking at is Boucher, Laviolette, and Gallant. And Boucher, let's just go over what he did as, what his coaching history is. He coached 3 years in Tampa. He went 97, 79, and 20. His winning percentage was a .546. Then he coached 3 years in Ottawa. He went 94, 108, and 26 for a .469 winning percentage. And his last year was in 18-19 when he coached Ottawa, and he went 22, 37, and 5. So Boucher's kind of an odd choice in this, but he's good with youth. He doesn't have the best of winning percentages, but he's just one of those names that are out there that a lot of fans want. I wanted to, but then when I saw kind of his record, he had 2 good years with each of the teams, and the rest of the years weren't as good. So I'd rather go for one of the two of Gallant or Laviolette. Now let's just go over Gallant now. He coached 3 years in Columbus. He went 56, 76, and 4. With a .430 winning percentage. He coached 3 years in Florida, 96, 65, and 25, .583 winning percentage. And his last 3 years were coaching of the Vegas Golden Knights. He went 118, 75, and 20, with a .601 winning percentage. And his last year, which is this year, he went 24, 19, and 6. And he won the Jack Adams. He won the Jack Adams as well. So, not this past year, but I'm just saying he won it throughout his history coaching with the Knights. And, he took them to the Stanley Cup Finals in that magical year, expansion year. And, I like Gallant. I really do. He's one of those coaches that I really, really would like to be a coach. I just saw the last year in Florida and in the last year of Vegas, he was just during the year magically gone. So I don't know if he kind of rubs players the wrong way after a certain while. This year was kind of a shock. You know, his last record for the last month was pretty good. I think they went like 9-4-2. So to fire him when they're going all right was a bit of a shock. And the thing was that they were speaking to DeBoer before they fired before they fired Gallant. So they hired him as soon as they fired him. So it was one of those situations where they were desperately looking for a change. The GM, Kelly McCrimmon, when he did his his speech whenever they were talking about what happened, it's like he wanted to say what happened, but he couldn't. So it was just an odd thing. And I think something went wrong between the two of them. I don't know. I mean, the most recent thing I heard was that Gallant was not as hard on the players as he should be whenever they had a situation come up where they played like crap or something. He was more lenient with them that the ownership wanted to see. That's the last I heard of it. So is that true? I don't know. You know, this league, they really don't talk bad about each other. You might hear it years down the line, but you're not going to hear anything as of now. So that's the most recent I heard about him. And going to Laviolette. Laviolette for me, I really like. I really do. I don't know why. I like how when I'm looking at his history, he's coached the last 3 teams for a lot of years. And I remember seeing videos on him this past year about him doing like sort of not bets, but deals with the players. And some interviews he'd come in with wearing the horse hat and stuff like that. So he is one of those coaches that is a player's coach, but he's a tough coach. And he's a really tough guy. I remember sometimes when he was pissed off at a call, he just walked out. He walked off the bench and then came back in. He was just one of those coaches that shows his emotion. And I really like that. I really think this team needs someone like him behind the bench. Now let's go over his history. He's coached the Islanders for 2 years. He went 77, 62, 19, and 6. And this is when they had ties to overtime losses. That's why it was the extra column. And he had a .54 win percentage. 5 years he coached in Philly. He went 145, 98, and 25. And his winning percentage was a .586. He coached in Carolina for 5 years. He went 167, 122, 6, and 28. And his winning percentage was a .570. And he won the cup with them in 2005, 2006. And 6 years in Nashville, he went 248 wins, 143 losses, and 60 overtime losses. And it's a .616. So I like Laviolette. Out of all these choices, I really do like him. He's a Stanley Cup winner. He knows what it takes to go into the playoffs and year after year and to win a cup. So he knows how to get them over that edge. So I like Laviolette, I really do. I think he's one of those coaches that can help them get the most out of the young players, and he works well with the youth too. That's why I like him. Gallant's more of a coach that works better with, players that are not as young but more established and more into their prime years and a little bit older. Whereas Laviolette has worked with youth and brought them to success. So my choice, honestly, out of all these is Peter Laviolette. I really like him. I really hope he's kind of made choice as the next coach of the New Jersey Devils. I think this team wants to win, and I think you got to start with your GM and your coaching. So let's see what happens going forward. And I did read that Gallant has ties to, or he has been speaking to behind the scene, not behind the scenes, but since he's been fired, where he has a link with the Detroit Red Wings. So could that happen? I could see it. I could see Blashill being on the way out and Gallant getting that job there, especially with the way that team played this year. It's horrible. So, we'll see what happens. Let me know what you all think. Thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Help me grow the channel. And thank you all. Let me know who you like as you want as the next coach of the New Jersey Devils. Thank you. Have a great rest of the night and take care.